hockey fans, the Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow, and we're going to talk hockey, and more hockey.
And high school hockey, and college hockey, and the Minnesota Wild,
Well,
and the pros.
yeah.
And let's start with the pros.
Yeah, sure.
Dom Tononano got called up. Duluth East, UMD player, former UMD player, Duluth East.
And
Got called up and played 2 games already.
And had his clock cleaned.
Yep.
That was a terrible hit.
Yeah. And he came back. He came back the second.
No, I know.
After second
That
period.
player got a misconduct.
He did.
What's up with that kind of play?
I know.
Why would you do that to a player?
Right.
Why would you do that to a member of your same union?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that hockey union.
Yeah, but the funniest thing, this is on Facebook. I saw it the other day. First game, he's coming out, and the player said, "Hey, you lead us the way. This is your first game in the pros."
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Well, he comes out in the ice, starting to do his lap and doing his circle around his half of the rink, and all the other players stop.
Yeah.
So he's all by himself.
He got hazed. It was his initiation.
It was great. All the players are just laughing.
Yeah.
That was great.
That is.
You gotta love it.
So all the games are over. All the funny games are over, and now they can get down to business. But that hit, God, I can't think of the player that hit him. Anyways, that's terrible. That happens.
So they gave him suspension, huh?
A misconduct.
Oh.
And I'm not sure what...
the league office has to look at it.
Oh, yeah. It was vicious. It was nasty. It just shouldn't happen in the game.
Right.
But Dom Tononano, NHL hockey player.
Yep.
Wow, how cool is that? Was his dad an NHLer?
No, I don't think he was. So this is great. I wonder if his dad showed up for the game.
Oh, I would think so.
Jimmy, yep.
Yeah.
He'd have to.
Yeah.
All the time he put in for hockey for his kid.
Oh, I'm sure Dad got a hold of...
I remember him when back in Pee Wee's, he'd be at every game. That's all.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Jim
You're
is his dad,
yeah,
right? And Jim, of course, a former UMD Bulldog player. He probably called his son and said, "Son, I'm coming to see your game. Buy me a ticket and get my flight, and they'll see you at the game." Or no, I don't know. But got to be a thrill for mom and dad. And, I know the parents are divorced.
Right.
But,
both of them.
Yeah, Dom Tononano, another Duluthian in the NHL.
There you go.
So who do we have in the NHL from Duluth? Dominic, Derek Forbert.
Right.
Are those the two?
I think that's the only 2 right now.
Currently, of course, Iafallo was a Bulldog.
Right. There's a lot of Bulldogs.
And I stand corrected. A couple of shows ago, I said that Iafallo was from Eden, New York, on the shores of Lake Erie. It's on the shores of Lake Ontario.
Oh. Well, good to be corrected.
Or no, did I say Ontario? I'm not sure. One of those Great Lakes.
Okay, one of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
There you go. But he wasn't from Minnesota.
No, Eden, New York. I'm not sure which
And we're
lake
glad
it's on,
he
but
came back to Minnesota.
whatever I said, it was incorrect. It was the other Great Lake.
There you go. So,
Well, the Minnesota Wild currently, where are the Wild? They're, this team, and they've been this way year after year after year.
I know.
They're really good, or they're not so good, or they're just bad. And they're not just bad that often. They're not really good that often. They're just kind of okay more often than not.
Well, they're going through a streak right now, and there's only like 3 players scoring for the team. You can't have that. I mean, you're not going anywhere when you only have 3 players scoring. That third and fourth line's not getting anything out of them. So they got, well, Charlie Coyle came back. Hopefully that helps.
Did he?
Yes.
So he played against New
Yeah,
Jersey?
he played last night. He didn't play that many minutes,
But he's
he
on the
played.
ice.
Yeah.
What was his injury?
He broke his leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, so he came back in 6 weeks. So
What's the scoop, or what's the scuttlebutt on Zach?
he's on injured, just put on the injured reserve, so he's not going to be back for a long time.
Surgery on his back.
Yep. And they need a player like him
Yeah.
to spark the team, Goes out and gives 100% every play, They need a player like that.
Wild have played 20 games so far in this early season. 9, 8, and 3. 21 points in the so far. 5-3-2 at home. Does that cut the mustard?
Nope. No way they're going to make the playoffs if they keep doing what they're doing. And I'll tell you one thing. I don't know what it is. It seems like over the years, the Wild get to overtime.
Yeah.
They're nothing.
I know.
They can't. That play last night, Zucker didn't come back at all almost. That player just got walked in. That was crazy. 1 minute into the overtime period, they just don't do these 3-on-3s.
Maybe they can
right.
just make a deal with the NHL.
I don't know.
And say, tell you what, if we go to overtime, we'll automatically give the other team a point, and we just won't even play.
I don't understand why they have to throw the puck back in the boards and they lose control. Why don't they just take it out? It's 3-on-3, take it out. The other forwards can go back to the bench and exchange, and then throw it to the other guy, and then the other guy gets off, and they got fresh 3 players, but they don't do it that way. They try to control the puck, keep the puck in the zone. They don't have to do that.
That's coaching.
So I hope that they change it. And look how many shootouts. They don't do good in that either.
No, they don't.
Over the years.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the record. I got to see if they have some record on.
Well, Zach Parisi's been pretty good at shootouts, and obviously he's not there. But, I'm not a fan of this 3-on-3 in overtime. That's not hockey.
So what would you recommend if it goes to overtime?
Hockey is 5-on-5 with a goalie.
Right.
But if you're going to get silly, go 1-on-1. Let's get
rat.
Let's get real silly.
Rink rat overtime.
Or how about we do this? We'll put one net at this end of the board. We'll go side to side rather than like, we'll get real silly with the game.
That way they don't have to bring the Zamboni out that much.
There's a lot of people still that aren't fans of the shootout. I've always been a fan of the shootout going back to the days of the IHL. I think it's fair that both teams earn a point after a regulation tie and then an additional point to determine it in a shootout. I don't know why they just don't go straight to a shootout.
Yeah.
Why have and the NCHC, they don't even know what the heck they're doing in that league. They're doing overtimes and shootouts, and none of it counts.
You get to overtime, stupid. You don't get any points. You got to go through another overtime period to get a point.
Okay.
That's weird.
So, the Minnesota Wild playing so-so. Their record 9-8-3, so they're right at 500, roughly. They played at Washington. They have a tough time with Washington, especially in Landover.
Yeah.
The game against New Jersey Monday night, they got a point and then lost in overtime. So the Wild will play again next at Buffalo on Wednesday the 22nd. And then Friday, they'll host Colorado and Dominic Toninato. You'll be there?
I will not.
Ooh. Friday matinee, 3 o'clock.
Friday, I'll be at a high school game.
Okay.
Where my heart is.
Sure. Cathedral.
No.
Oh.
Yes, I did graduate.
Yeah. So the Wild play the day after Thanksgiving, Friday the 24th, 3 o'clock game.
No, I'll be there.
You will?
I'll be there for the first hour, and then I'm going to a high school game.
Oh, all right. Well, that's nice. And then this Saturday at St. Louis, that's a 7 o'clock start on the 25th. And then the Wild.
St. Louis is leading the league right now.
They
got a good start. So Mike Yo, who the Wild thought can't do the job.
St. Louis is leading the division. Tampa Bay is number 1 in the league.
Yeah, but
Tampa Bay.
The western side, St. Louis is the team.
And then Tampa on the east. Rounding out the month, the Wild will play at Winnipeg on Monday the 27th. And then they're going to host the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, first time.
On Thursday the 30th.
New team coming to town.
Ladies' night at XL Energy Center. Yeah, whatever that means. So the Wild, I don't know. They struggle. They'll put together a real good game at times. And it seems to be this was a trend. You can go back 10 years, and this is the same team.
Well, the way they came back, it's just...
Or the same results.
Very frustrating
the same
to do all
outcomes.
That. Granlund scores 2 goals to tie the game in the third period, and then they'll do that.
What are they missing, Jared? What's the missing link here with the Wild? The superstar?
Well, they don't have the superstar, so let's get over that.
All right.
Most teams don't.
Sure.
So, there's about 8 teams that have that 30 goal every year.
There's one Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
John Tavares. Ovechkin.
Yeah, Tavares, yep. You named it. McGregor, Conor McGregor, Matthews, Austin Matthews.
Sure.
young kids that'll be scoring 30 every year.
Boy, Toronto, my goodness. Toronto sits third in the league.
Yeah. They want to go for the Stanley Cup this year, I think.
Boy, wouldn't that be something if the Toronto Maple... I don't think they've hoisted it since the 60s.
Yeah. That's kind of sad for the fans up there. They don't give up, though.
No.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I mean, they had so many bad years, and they still filled that place up, and that's one of the biggest stadiums in National Hockey League, that and United Center. But to going back to what's wrong with Wild, if you don't have that star player, you got to have a committee. So you got to be scoring on every line, and they're not doing that. And really, only 3 players have been scoring the last 7 games.
Well, that's it right there.
You can't have that. That when the third and fourth line, you don't have that star player, that third and fourth line better get some points because it's not going to work.
You know, I don't think goaltending is a real issue. I think Dubnyk is an outstanding goaltender. He had the 3 shutout games in a row. He's played well since he came here. Stalock has proved himself very well. He had 40 saves in that Washington game.
No, he's playing, when he comes out, he does his job.
Yeah.
Just the team doesn't score for him.
It's not goaltending. It's the lack of that.
Scoring from other players.
Yeah.
So, plus I think another thing is, I haven't seen a game where they play the full 60 minutes. And you got to start getting high minutes where you're playing your game. If you're not playing your game, it's tough. And they seem to get behind a lot of times in that first period, and then they're fighting back. And that doesn't work either. They're not a come-from-behind team, even though Nashville last week, one of the best comebacks they've had in their history,
True.
you know.
True.
And they came back on last night. But the way they lost it, just you forgot all about it.
Well, the best comeback, I think, in the history of this team, they were down to Chicago going into the third period 4-5-0. And we'd have to look up those stats, but they came back and won that game over Chicago. But, yeah, you're right. That was a big comeback against Nashville. Again, the Minnesota Wild kind of just making along here. And their superstar is not in the lineup, so that's what we have to... I don't know how much different.
And they're getting older. These 2 players, Suter and Parisi, when they got it, everyone, oh boy. That people have to know this is a 13-year contract.
Again,
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
The Wild are 9-8-3. How much different are they with a healthy Zach Parisi? Are they 10-7? Are they 11-6?
I can't see that much difference unless he sparks the team and get other players to go all out every shift.
Should the Wild have retained Haula? Eric Haula's played well in Vegas.
He's had some injury problems too.
Alex Tuck.
Oh, here's another thing. It's really weird. They're playing the salary cap thing because Mike Riley is not playing because if he gets 21 games in, they got to keep him for the whole year. And that's money, contract, and everything is screwed up then.
Isn't that something?
And he's an offensive. He's not the best defenseman, but he's an offensive one. He'd probably be their best offensive defenseman.
He's so young, and he's even younger looking.
But to not play a guy like that, because it just, I think they really screwed up on this salary stuff. They're not doing it right.
Well, Fletcher's been there since day one.
Yeah.
You know, how much of the burden does he carry in this stuff?
Well, I think the Wild don't win this year and don't get to the playoffs, something like that happen. And I think there'll be a lot of talk.
Yeah, and Fletcher hasn't been there from day one. Doug Risebrough was the first GM.
Right.
But he's been there quite a while. So again, the Minnesota Wild will play at Buffalo on Wednesday. They'll be home the day after Thanksgiving, 3 o'clock against the Colorado Avalanche. I'm sorry, the Colorado Toninanos.
Woohoo! Well, you know who's coaching Buffalo now?
Refresh my memory.
Minnesota kid. Came out of high school, started playing hockey at 18 years old.
Oh, Ramsey?
No.
Or
That's the one.
Yeah, not Ramsey.
Phil Halsey.
Phil Housley. Is he?
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
And they're having a tough time. They got a lot of young players, and
Well, what are you saying? Fire the coach?
no. We'll give them a couple years.
Okay. Again, the Minnesota Wild, they just need to eke out a couple of wins here and then make it through November. November's been a tough schedule for them. But they've got to play St. Louis on the 25th of November at St. Louis, and then they'll host St. Louis on December 2nd. But Minnesota Wild, 9-8-3, 21 points, 5-3-2 at home. Not terrible, but it'd be nice to see
Right.
that improve. Number one in the league, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, Toronto, Winnipeg, New Jersey, and Columbus.
Really?
Yeah.
No LA Kings? He didn't make it?
Not in the league.
Okay.
That's the top five.
Okay,
New
okay.
Jersey and Columbus are tied for the
It's
fifth
kind of
spot.
funny. New Jersey was just a terrible team last year.
They're playing real good.
Yeah.
They're a good team.
They got a nice team there. A little
They do.
different play. And,
UMD Bulldogs 2-4-0, 6-6-2 overall. The Bulldogs will host Minnesota State for one game
yeah, that'll be on Saturday night.
Saturday night at Amsoil, Minnesota State, and
And
the
Minnesota
Bulldogs.
State's playing good hockey.
And that's a 7 o'clock drop of the puck. And then the Bulldogs will host Denver December 1st and 2nd. What's going on in Omaha? They're in last place.
Yeah, Omaha's having a hard time.
Is that because of the lack of? Dean Blaze is no longer there.
Right, but they did go to that Frozen Four when they had Genzo and Archibald that's playing for Pittsburgh right now, two Minnesota kids. And but they haven't, outside of that 1 year, they really are just a mediocre team.
Jake Randolph from Duluth East playing in Omaha.
Yeah, and they'll be in town here in the first week of March. First weekend in March.
Yeah.
And that's Downtown and Otto's best friend,
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see him, and he's had a pretty good career for being at Omaha. And Trevor Olson, another one that used to be on their line at Duluth East on that first line, he's up at North Dakota, but I guess he has a little injury right now, so he's not playing. But he's the captain of the North Dakota. That's a nice honor.
Yeah. Goaltending at UMD, have they settled on a starter yet? Or?
Well, Shepard's been playing every game
Yeah.
lately, so I think that they're going with him until it breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been most games. He's playing decent.
UMD 6-6 overall, 6-6-2. Not too shabby for a team made up of a ton of freshmen.
Plus, they've had a lot of little injuries already. Just little ding-dongs where they can't play for a couple games or one game.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're young, you don't get that chemistry if you don't have the same players all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I think, for the way they're playing and that, I think they're playing all right. I think by the second half of the year, if they can stay healthy, I think they can move up and get into that top four. But right now, Denver, St. Cloud State,
Sure.
North Dakota, and Western Michigan are playing pretty good hockey.
Who of the UMD bunch, who is kind of stands out to you?
Scott Perinovich.
Has a leader emerged?
Scott Perinovich. Well, on the older kids,
Carson Coleman's the captain.
Right, he has to be the leader. The captain always has to be the leader. But I think it's more on committee. Each night, I think it's a nice team, and I think they get along real well, and I think that'll help in the long term. And they go out and practice hard every day, and I think that, like I said, they're going to be better as the season gets going more, getting that second half of this year, they're going to have more chemistry, and because they've got a lot of young players.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny, Jared Thomas scored a couple goals this weekend, his first 2 goals of the year. So if you get him going his senior year, hey, things are really looking up.
Yeah. Boy, Jared, I don't know. He's been okay.
Yeah, he hasn't been the scorer, but hey, maybe things are good will be happening now when he you score 2 goals, a little confidence, a light goes off, and boom, you never know.
St. Scholastica Saints, 3-3-0 on the season, both in conference and non-conference. But I was looking at their schedule. Now they're going to play. UWS this Saturday at 7:00 in Superior.
You'll be there.
I don't know that I'll be there. St. Scholastica at UWS this Saturday, the 25th, 7:05 drop of the puck. The Saints have, on their schedule, they have 11 home games and 14 road games. They play a home game once in November. Once in November.
This is the Saints?
St. Scholastica.
Okay.
They have one November home game and one December home game.
Wow, that is strange.
Yeah.
And you're saying there's 7 home games this year only? Or
there's 11 home games.
11, I'm sorry.
14 away games.
Okay.
I looked at the schedule. I thought, this can't be right.
Huh.
But that's the way it's on USA.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird. They got the rankings out. Here's the USHO.
Number 1, Denver. Surprised?
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, those 3 teams we got here are all NCHC.
Look at that.
games.
Number 1, 2, and 3, Denver, St. Cloud State, North Dakota.
And St. Cloud and North Dakota both were out in Denver. And Denver beat St. Cloud both games 2 weeks ago and then split with North Dakota this last weekend. It was just great hockey. I know a lot of people are out there at those games.
Notre Dame, number 4 in the polls, Minnesota, number 6, and they meet this weekend in Notre Dame.
That's right. It'll be a good matchup. And Notre Dame is in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah.
So it's a conference game. It's just kind of strange. Notre Dame in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But only sport, they do that. So it'll be fun.
Have you been to that arena?
Compton Arena.
Nice
It's
arena.
right next to the football field.
Is that a
about
new
2 blocks from the football field?
Is it a new hockey rink?
Yeah, it was built about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So
What happened there? I know Notre Dame was playing college hockey. One of the Haneys went to Notre Dame.
he was the first captain.
Did they shut down their program for a while and then reemerge, or did they?
I don't think they ever shut it down from that point.
They were
Once owned it.
independent for so many years.
But they went to different conference too. Yeah, they're independent in the beginning for a long time, and then they were in it was the Big East, I think they went to.
Yeah.
And then they decided to come to the Big Ten now. So
Is this better for the Big Ten with Notre Dame?
I'll tell you
team?
what. Every game I go at the Gophers, I send a pitcher out.
Yeah.
And there's no one in the stadium. No one shows up.
Talk
Doesn't
about
matter.
that. What is going on?
Well,
Now, Jerry,
money.
that never,
Big Ten.
ever used to be an issue at Mariucci.
They-
Packed every night.
They started charging seat charges. That's extra than the regular ticket charge. So they charging $200 for that seat for the year, or $400.
And then you got to buy the ticket package.
Right. So that's $35 a ticket.
Well, you see, this is what the Minnesota Vikings and a lot of NFL teams, a lot of professional teams.
So corporate buys them now. So fans get.
Okay, so 3M might have 800 tickets.
Well, I wouldn't say they have that.
Well,
many,
whatever
but
the
yes,
number is.
Yes, all these
100.
corporate. Yes.
And then they'll distribute those tickets.
Right.
And,
then
the
they don't show
people,
up.
the people holding the tickets, they don't really have any skin in the game, so to speak.
Right.
So they're not obligated to go because they didn't buy the tickets.
Like I said, I was telling
That's
one of the
terrible.
fans that still has his season tickets, but he's thinking of getting rid of them now after over 30 years. We're talking at the game the other night down there, and he said that, hey, I told him, I used to walk around and over the years I've been there since they opened Mariucci, and I've been to most of their games at home. And over these years, I probably know 5,000 people. I go around that stadium now, I'm lucky to find 20 people I know. That's how bad it is. I used to know everyone. I can talk. They go to every game. These are real fans, though.
Now, is this a Big Ten mandate? Do other Big Ten teams do these with the seat fees?
I don't know that because they don't. The other Big Ten teams, most of them don't. Like Penn State does okay because that's a new program and they like their hockey. But the other ones, there's a lot of games that are only 2,000 3,000 people at the most.
You know, this is terrible what they've done, because the Minnesota Vikings did that, and they're a professional team.
Right.
And the fact that they're doing this, the Gophers, well, they're learning a pretty tough lesson.
Yeah, a lot of games that by the end of the game, there's only half filled. And in the first period, it's only 1/3 filled.
Are they okay with the fact that the seats are sold?
Right.
3M, Honeywell.
That's not true. Not all the seats are sold now.
Oh, okay.
There's only 8,000 sold, like someone told me.
So still,
out of the 10,000,
gotcha.
8,000 are sold. So but I guess they don't care. Someone told me they're getting paid $30 million for the TV rights.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
You've got to be concerned about the lack
they
of
went to
a
the
crowd.
But look, another thing that really bothers me, 3M took over the naming rights.
Yeah.
And that's a guy, I mean, people are really not happy with this.
Because?
John Mariucci. This is Mariucci's arena, not 3M Arena at Mariucci.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But just to say that, you know, almost...
Yeah.
You've been there so long. I mean, it's just history.
Yeah.
You took away history.
Wow. Well, they got to deal with it. And
it's a different life now.
I'll be honest with you. Doesn't bother me in the least.
Well, what's coming down is pretty soon people aren't going to go out to these sporting events. They're going to stay home and watch it on TV or go to their friendly restaurant bar and watch it there.
Oh, yeah.
Have a beer, and they don't have to watch
We
the
don't
whole
have
game.
to buy a ticket and pay to park.
And they
We can watch it at home.
And $35, you can have a lot of food and beer.
Well, it's sad, you know, and I don't think anybody would have ever thought that anything like this would have happened in Minnesota, but it's happening.
Seems like it's getting down to the big fan base is only North Dakota now.
So, number 1, 2, 3 in college hockey, Denver, St. Cloud State, North Dakota, and then rounded out the top 5, Notre Dame and Clarkson. Minnesota sits at 6, the Minnesota State 8, Wisconsin 9, Western Michigan 11, UMD's down at 16, and over on the women's side, Wisconsin number 1,
Undefeated.
Minnesota 6th.
Yeah. It's not the same Minnesota team. They've always had great. They just don't have talent like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But another thing is like Western Michigan, they're number 4 in pairwise. They're doing the pairwise early now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Western Michigan's playing pretty good hockey. They took it to Denver and I mean Omaha the week before, and UMD had a hard time with them. They split.
So again, hockey this weekend. Minnesota State will be at Amsoil Arena. UMD hosting Minnesota State. UWS will host Scholastica on Saturday the 25th over at Westman Arena. 7:05 drop of the puck. What else, Jer?
High school hockey starting. I'm going to put my top 10 and teams to watch on website within the next 2 days, today or tomorrow. And then every week, starting on 3rd of December, when every team has a chance to play a game, we'll do it every week then. And high school hockey, like I said, starts this week, and all the top teams like Edina, Moorhead, St. Thomas, Minnetonka, the top 4 of the 5 are playing this weekend.
Well, locally,
so I'll see them, and
yeah.
I got a good idea. I know who's good and who's not.
Locally, we have the Jamboree tonight.
Yes.
We're taping
Tuesday
the 21st of November, and the Jamboree starts where the Duluth schools get together at Heritage, and they just do, 2 7-minute periods or whatever it is. And,
yeah, they just do,
they kind of get their feet
15-minute periods, I
kind of get their feet wet.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. You can check us out online. Find us on Facebook and like us there. MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. We're also on YouTube. We post our videos there as well, our episodes rather. And we want to thank the staff at PACT-TV. This program is produced in downtown Duluth City Hall, the studios of PACT Television. We thank them. And Jared will be back here next week to drop the puck.
Yeah, see you at the rink.